deep in the Himalayan caves, where silence speaks louder than words, and the air itself seems to vibrate with ancient wisdom, something extraordinary happened. A yogi named Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj entered a state so profound that the boundaries between the individual soul and the supreme soul simply dissolved. What emerged from this divine union was Swarved, a spiritual masterpiece that would transform countless lives across the world. Imagine, if you will, the scene. The year was 1938. High up in the mountains, far from the noise and chaos of everyday life, this remarkable soul sat in perfect stillness. For 17 years, he had dedicated himself to the most intense spiritual practice imaginable. And then, in that sacred moment of yoga samadhi, when his consciousness merged completely with the divine, the words began to flow. Not from books he had read, not from theories he had studied, but from direct, first-hand experience of the ultimate truth. Swarved is unlike any spiritual text you might have encountered before. Written in simple Hindi couplets, it contains 3,906 verses that capture the very essence of divine realization. The name itself tells us everything we need to know. Swar means the supreme soul, the universal energy, while Ved means knowledge. So Swarved is literally the knowledge of the supreme soul expressed through the lived experience of someone who had actually touched that infinite reality. What makes this text so remarkable is its authenticity. These are not philosophical musings or intellectual exercises. Every single verse springs from the direct experience of a soul who had transcended the ordinary limitations of human consciousness. When Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj wrote these words, he was not describing something he had read about or imagined. He was sharing what he had actually lived, breathed, and become one with. The beauty of Swarved is in its simplicity. Despite containing the most profound spiritual secrets, it is written in language that anyone can understand. These couplets don't require years of scholarly study to appreciate. They speak directly to the heart, bypassing the complexities of the mind to touch something deeper within us. Each verse carries a vibration, an energy that can awaken dormant spiritual faculties in those who approach it with sincerity. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. After Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj completed this monumental work, the responsibility of making it accessible to seekers fell to his first successor, Sadguru Dharmachandra Dioji Maharaj. This enlightened soul took on the sacred task of writing the purport, the detailed commentary that would help ordinary people understand the deeper meanings hidden within these seemingly simple verses. Think about the magnitude of this responsibility. How do you explain experiences that transcend ordinary human consciousness? How do you put into words what can only be truly understood through direct spiritual realization? Sadguru Dharmachandra Dioji Maharaj approached this challenge with the same depth of understanding that had characterized his predecessor. His commentary doesn't just explain the verses intellectually, it creates a bridge between the highest spiritual experiences and our everyday understanding. The tradition of Vihangam Yoga, which Swarved represents, is not just another spiritual path. It is described as the eternal way of God realization, a technique that has been taught by enlightened masters throughout all ages. What Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj discovered and shared through Swarved is this timeless method of achieving union with the divine. Reading Swarved is said to be a transformative experience in itself. The verses don't just convey information, they generate powerful spiritual vibrations that can elevate consciousness in real time. Many practitioners report that simply reading these couplets creates a meditative state, as if the words themselves carry the energy of the samadhi in which they were written. The text covers every aspect of the spiritual journey, from the initial awakening of spiritual curiosity to the final realization of oneness with the Supreme Soul. Swarved serves as both map and companion. It addresses the practical challenges that seekers face, offers guidance for different stages of development, and ultimately points toward that state of consciousness where all questions dissolve in the light of direct knowing. What's particularly remarkable about this tradition is how it has continued to flourish. The lineage that began with Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj has been carefully preserved, with each successor carrying forward not just the teachings, but the living transmission of this profound spiritual knowledge. Today, seekers around the world continue to find in Swarved the same transformative power that has characterized it since its creation in those Himalayan caves. The message of Swarved is ultimately one of hope and possibility. It tells us that the highest spiritual realization is not reserved for a chosen few, but the birthright of every human soul.
Through the practice of Vihangam Yoga and the guidance contained in these sacred verses, anyone with sincere dedication can embark on the journey toward that ultimate union with the divine that Sadguru Sadafaldeo Maharaj experienced and so beautifully expressed. In our modern world, where we often feel disconnected from deeper meaning and purpose, Swarved offers a path back to our true nature. It reminds us that beneath all the surface turbulence of daily life lies an ocean of peace, wisdom, and infinite love. The techniques and insights contained within its verses provide practical methods for accessing this deeper reality, not as an escape from life, but as a way of living life from its most authentic and fulfilling dimension.